Watches and Wonders predictions. Let's get to it. Hi everyone and welcome to Saluso, and yes, today we're talking about my predictions for 2024's Watches and Wonders. Now I've limited it to one watch per brand. If you want to skip across, then make sure you check the chapters in the description. But let's get straight out the gate with Breitling. And I'm starting off with Breitling because they generally tend to release the day before Watches and Wonders. And for this year, my prediction is that they will introduce the World Timer complication into the Premier line. Now the Premier has already gotten a facelift last year, so I don't imagine them doing a huge amount of variations on this. Last year we saw tons of different new colors for the chronographs. This year I think they'll keep it simple, they'll keep it with just one, maybe two colors, but I think they will bring back the Unitime. This is something that we last saw on the Aviator 8. It wasn't a huge sales success, but still a very cool watch. And it makes great use of Breitling's in-house movement with a full world timer. And I think it's something that really lends itself to the Premier. At the end of the day, the Premier is positioned to be sort of like, this gentleman's do anything watch. It's something I think very much lends itself to that whole sort of 1920s, 1930s narrative, people going on grand tours and whatnot. I think that it would really lend itself to have a world timer, have a travel watch, and again, making use of a movement they already have developed that hasn't really hit in the past. On top of that, the Premier line is often compared to a lot of Patek Philippe's models, especially when you think of like the Datora, comparing it to some Pateks. So I think this is another way of kind of leaning into that, but in a much more usable capacity and a much more accessible capacity because, well, Breitling doesn't charge what Patek does. And this is honestly something I'd be all for if they ended up doing it. I love the Premier line in general. I love what Breitling has been doing with it. And most importantly, I think now is the time. More and more people are getting back into traveling, so a world timer is pretty useful. And as a bonus, they can even mimic Patek Philippe a little bit by using the pushers to change the world timer instead of using them as chronograph pushers. But now, of course, let's move into the brand that everyone wants to hear about, and that is Rolex. Now, in my view, Rolex isn't going to do a lot this year. Last year was packed with novelties, to the point that I think maybe they would want to rest for a little bit. Last year, we got the Titanium Yachtmaster, we got the 1908, we got the new Daytona, we got the 24 Hours of Le Mans Daytona. I think that was a great year, but I don't think they would be able to follow it up with that much change, and I don't think they need to. For Watches and Wonders, I think they'll keep it low key, and my prediction for this year is that they will release finally a full steel version of the GMT with the black and gray bezel and a red 24 hours hand. This would essentially bring together the last that we saw from the 16710 and the 116710. My guess is that they'll ditch the green that they had on the previous generation because they want to keep that maybe for more special variants, and they'll bring back the red while introducing a variant that still uses that black and gray bezel, but at a more accessible price point. Next, we have Tudor. Now, Tudor, in my view, is always quite easy to predict because just look at what they've been doing at Only Watch, and if they haven't made it yet, then maybe it's in the pipeline. For this year, I'm predicting that they will introduce a new chronograph, and more importantly, that they will kill the Black Bay chronograph as they already have killed last year the Heritage Chrono, which I spoke about in one of my recent videos. Now, I think the fact that they've introduced a new in-house chronograph movement shows there's something coming in the pipeline. Whether it's this year or next year, anyone knows. But my guess is that coming up will be a new chronograph, and I think they will model it after this Only Watch version that we saw. Instead of being in full yellow gold, I think they'll come through with a stainless steel variant, and I think it will continue with that layout of having the 12, 6, and 9 with the chronograph, so that it honors some of those old Tudor big blocks. Next, we have Patek Philippe. Now, Patek Philippe, I think they had a really good launch last year with some of their Calatravas. Obviously, Patek being Patek, I'm sure they'll introduce some crazy complications. But in terms of their mainstream collections, I think what we will see is just a slight evolution on the 58 series Nautilus. So we got the 5811 in the end of 2022 in white gold. I don't think it's time for steel, but I do think it's time that they introduce some complications to it. And that's why I think they'll come out with something like, a 5826, pushing what is one of their original complications, which is of course the annual calendar. And it's a way for them to keep it in precious metal, keep it still very Patek, because from what I've understood when you read those interviews from Terry Stern, what he didn't like was the focus only on the steel Nautilus making it seem as if that is the entire brand. I think with this, keeping it in white gold, it avoids the crazy hype and dilution of the brand, but still allows them to expand the line and crucially focus on complications. And then last but not least, we have IWC. Now, IWC generally tends to focus on one collection per year, and one collection I think hasn't gotten any attention in a long time is the Aquatimer. Most people don't even realize that they even have a dive watch, but they do, and in fact, they used to make them very, very over-engineered. I actually shot one a while back that had 2,000 meters of water resistance and was a full titanium case. It's a beast. I can't wait to put out that video, but I think that they should bring back that level of over-engineering to the Aquatimer. Also in the past, we've seen the Ingenieur has already been brought back after a long hiatus of not getting much attention. So again, another opportunity maybe for IWC to push one of its ranges a bit further up market by over-engineering it. So those are just my thoughts on what could come out in Watches and Wonders 2024, but let me know in the comments below, what do you want to see? Which brands are you looking out for? Which models are you looking out for? And what do you think will be discontinued? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, if you like this video, make sure you like it and share it. If you want to see more pictures and infographics of watches, then make sure you check out my Instagram at @shaluso. And if you want to see more videos of watches, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell as well so you know when the next video comes out. But thanks for staying for my predictions of 2024's Watches and Wonders, and we'll catch you on the next video.